Hello, and welcome to Alienate UK with your hosts, Andy and Nicole. Super Chat and Super Stickers are now active. Please put all questions in caps and start with an emoji.
Let's go.
Hello. Welcome to a different than advertised Alienate UK. Robert Murphy was unable to make it as he started with a coughing fit last night. Not coughing. He didn't die and was being fit for a coughing. That's so that just come out wrong. So he was speaking last night at an event, and then he's just not been able to stop coughing since. So I'm going to get him back on before Christmas. Got a couple of empty dates for schedule. So an amazing friend or two has managed to step in. So we have the wonderful Frankie Dale, co-founder of Parasite Project over in the US, and our wonderful moderator, Nickname. Welcome to the show, guys. And we did have Nicole chit chat somewhere, but she's vanished. So she's back. So when she comes on, I do have one quick announcement. I just want to say, here she is. She's back.
Hi.
I just want to say a big thank you to Big Red for sending out some things for me. I have received, I'm not going to hold up too long. So he sent me these. So these are called Tread the Unknown, and the badges. They look like little shields. I don't know if you guys have seen them. There's only so many of each that have been made. So he sent me these three out. So massive thank you to Big Red for doing this. Really appreciate it. I am officially the only guy in the UK, or the only person in the UK, who is a proud owner of them. Nice. So thank you. Appreciated so much. That's it. Right, end of show. See you later. Bye.
Okay, bye. I just got here too.
That was quick. So got Frankie. Nonsense, I want one. So we've got Frankie coming on. So he's going to talk about the neurovisor. Or as I keep calling it, I keep calling it neurovirus.
Oh, everybody does. I'm just gonna go. Can I go run and grab one? Real quick?
Of course you can.
Second.
Yeah.
Look how fast Frankie moved.
Hello.
No lie. Andy, when you picked up that envelope then, sorry, Big Red, but I thought it looked like a specimen envelope. I was worried.
No, it's... So when you send anything to the US or to the UK, you've got to put more. You have to put more labels on it that will actually fit. Doesn't matter the size of the envelope or anything like that. They give you like 12 labels to stick on it just to make sure it goes to where it's supposed to go. But yeah, bit of a pain in the ass, but
I'm back.
So it's all good. Take your time. It's fine. I'm just going to ramble on while you get. Do you want to get started with that, and we'll. Are you ready to go?
I'm good. I'm all good. I'm ready to go, brother.
You know how many times he does neurovisor?
So do you want me to explain it to people? I'll explain. Okay.
Explain, please.
So what? So
go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So from my professional work, which I consider my life's work, is I forensic social worker at Rutgers University. I work in forensics within the prison system. In addition to that, I have a private practice and a holistic practice where I'm a cognitive behavioral therapist and in mindfulness. And so mindfulness is a really big thing for me. I use it daily in my practice, traditional meditation, Shakti, tuning forks. I play the crystal singing bowls. But I've always been a techie person. So there's a movement probably in the last, I would say, 8 to 5 years where a lot of mindfulness, deep, impactful mindfulness is coming from technology. So being a big lover of music, I gravitated towards sound, music, audio. And then over the years, I stumbled upon the blend of using light and sound, which has been used since the creation of man. We were playing drums and chanting, looking at fire, flickering of candles, and that was a way for us to tap into a deeper connection, higher level spirituality, depending on what culture you subscribe to. So I quickly started playing around with different light and sound technology products that were out there, tried a bunch of stuff, and was like, okay, this is great, this is fun, but am I getting any mindfulness wellness benefits out of it? And quickly found that it was all like for entertainment purposes, and went down a rabbit hole and was like, there's got to be something out there in the market that is more research based from a science perspective, and found a company called Neurovisor, and started using the device. I've been using it personally for several years, and then quickly incorporated when I was having experiences, having my friends try it, my family try it, and getting an instant reaction from it. Then I moved it into my private practice. How we started using this, and I'll show you the technology. So this is what a NeuroVisor device looks like, okay? The experience is in 3 pieces. This is a headband that you put on your forehead, okay? And in it goes this light box.
Oh.
Which is 9 LED lights, no colors, just white LED lights. It magnetically clips into the visor, and then we give you a pair of headphones. So you have the device on your head like this, okay? I'm not going to turn it on because it works through my phone and I'll lose you guys. But what happens is the device will start flickering at different patterns and rates. In your ears, you're getting different types of soundscape music, themes of music, genres of music, but it's not just music. Underlying in the music is binaural beats. So binaural beats are, the way that they work is, if you don't know, so you get tuning in one ear, the other ear it's off pitch just a little bit. By doing that, your brain perceives it as a third sound. So it's almost like a 3-dimensional sound, if that makes sense. And the important part of that is it creates bilateral stimulation. Okay, so when we have bilateral stimulation in our brains, your brain is more receptive to learning. And a fancy word for your brain learning is called neuroplasticity. It's the moment that your brain in an instant learns something or sees something. and it's computing it. We build neuroplasticity all day long, our entire lives. For in our field, that's a whole rabbit hole. Does neuroplasticity exist after the afterlife? I don't know. I can't tell you. But the important part of that is when you have that bilateral stimulation, you're more receptive to learning things. So the sound is creating frequency, actual frequency communication in your brain. So our 5 brain waves are delta, beta, theta, gamma, and alpha. Okay. And they're all impacted by hertz and decibels. Okay. Then you add the layer of light technology on it. Now it's double impactful. So the best way I can explain it is I do traditional therapy strategies in my life, meditating, guided meditation, all that kind of fun stuff. But it's a buildup of doing that to get an effect. And you have to do it over a sustainable time for that to happen. With the neurovisor, because it's neuroscience, it's not neuroentertainment, you're building neuroplasticity from the moment that session ends, which could be 5 minutes, 8 minutes, 20 minutes. It's probably like, to equate it, 2 weeks worth of traditional therapy, meditation in a 5-minute session, where I'm walking away instantaneously feeling connected, grounded, feeling better, less anxiety, focus. So I introduced this to both of my co-founders, Anthony and Shayna. They've been hearing about me talk about it for a number of years, but about 6 to 8 months ago, Anthony, who was a 22-year veteran of the New York City Police Department, retired. And he was looking at ways to help with transitioning from working 22 years in law enforcement to decompressing from all that. So I said, why don't you just give the neurovisor a shot? He was a little hesitant about it. And I actually was like starting to do it in paranormal settings, more to ground myself, not to tap into paranormal specifically. So I told Anthony, hey, we were at this location that we were doing a private with some friends, Peachtree Mansion in South Jersey. And I said, well, you know what? I'll bring the neurovisor. Slap it on. Maybe it'll just help you relax before, so you can have a good time. So I threw it on him. I can do what's called, with this device, neurobiohacking. Okay. So neurobiohacking sounds scary, sounds futuristic, some like Terminator shit. But it's not. So we neurobiohack every single day of our lives. If you take medication, if you meditate, if you go to the gym, if you drink caffeine, if you smoke cigarettes, if you do any type of substance, what neurobiohacking is, and it's used in the medical community a lot and in the psych community, is you're just telling your brain from its natural functioning, hey, I'm going to step in here and I'm kind of going to do things a little different than you would probably do it. I'm going to make some shifts and changes on you. That is what neurobiohacking is. We're just doing it with technology. Okay. So I'm able to tap into those 5 brain waves that I was talking about. The neuroscience behind that can target a bunch of things. There's over 100 programs that we can run and tailor to people. So what I did with him was spike his gamma. Okay. Gamma is associated with paranormal activity, associated with mediumship, with sensitives, psi abilities. So I said, one, because he's like a brother to me, I wanted him to feel better. 2, I was like, okay, let's fucking play around with this. Let's neurobiohack and spike up his gamma and see what happens, So that's what we did. That's what we did. The night went on. Most of us were downstairs on the first floor in a session with Ron Iacovetti and Lourdes Gonzalez doing the digital seance experience. And Anthony was upstairs investigating, and I'm sitting next to Shayna, who is his wife. And we start getting, TDSC starts getting messages, and they say the name Rita. And then they say, happy birthday. It meant nothing to us in the room, except for Anthony's wife, Shayna, looked at me and she's like, I need to get Anthony now. So she went upstairs and got Anthony. He comes downstairs, and for full disclosure, Anthony is, because he's a cop, and he'll tell you sometimes he's on fence of like, does he suppress things because he's a cop that doesn't lend for when he's in a paranormal situation to have that personal experience? Well, the name Rita was his grandmother. And it just so happened to be that day her birthday.
Wow.
So
Oh my
Anthony,
God.
right, Anthony quickly turned from a skeptic on the device to, Frankie, we need to get this involved in the paranormal work we're doing. So we started probably in the last 6 to 8 months, and Nicole could tell you, she's seen me do it. I go to locations, and before I even start the investigation, I'll say, I'll be back in like 5 minutes. I'm just going to do a neurovisor session. My own experience with it is I was at the My Haunted Manor Samuel Miller Mansion in Pennsylvania. Through the device line before I walked into the building, the building is steeped in really deep Underground Railroad slavery location where they used to come through the building. Knew very little about that information. They don't really advertise a lot of it because they want people to help like peel those layers. And was in the servants' quarters that's there. And the psych brain, the therapist brain of me was like, I think I want to do like almost like a spirit therapy session with them to see what their experience is like being a slave. So I was sitting there and I quickly thought, yeah, that's probably not going to go over well with a Caucasian male asking African American slaves, tell me about what my people did to you. So I didn't go there, and I'm just sitting in the room, and I never had anything like this before. I don't lie, make stuff up. I feel no need to have to do that. A shadow figure moves across like my field of vision. The only way that I can describe it is of the petite, and I've never had any of this type of experience before. Small, petite, what I appeared for it to be a woman. But what stood out to me is I thought it was a bonnet on her head. So the premise of My Haunted Manor USA is it's a YouTube show. So they're filming everything 24/7, 365. It's like phenomenal because it's almost like a paranormal lab because it's being observed 24/7, 365. So they catch me having a reaction to my first time, which I grab my stuff and I'm basically like, nope. I'm done. I'm gone. I was on my way out of the building when a gentleman who runs it, Trey Bader, stopped me and he was like, Frankie, what's going on? Just before you leave, talk to us. So I explained to him what I saw, and he looks at the camera and he says, are you serious? And I look at him and I'm like, oh no, like that. Now you're making it even worse. He proceeds to show me a picture of an African American woman from the slavery time period with a very unique hairstyle that started here and kind of was like an afro that went up. Okay. When he showed me that, I wanted to either throw up in my mouth or pass out. That was like my literal reaction. He proceeds to tell me that that woman that I'm looking at the picture is Harriet Tubman's mother, Rit Green, that they have been connecting with her I had no idea. They never mentioned it at all to me. We barely in the US learn about who Harriet Tubman is outside of being a freedom fighter for slavery, against slavery. We don't learn about her family. We don't learn about her parents. So there was no way for me to walk in, even thinking about Harriet Tubman. I could see if I said, "Oh, I saw Harriet Tubman." Yeah, I don't know about that, because that's bias that you're bringing into it. But I can't bring bias into something like that about somebody that I don't know exists.
Yeah.
So that was another indication with Anthony's situation, and then this situation. I'm like, we need to do further research on it. So we did some work at the manor with their staff and using this, and they were having experiences. And of course, like I said, it's on a show, so we were like concerned about legalities of the show and them airing a product like that without having the company's permission. When we sent them, and Andy, you'll appreciate this, because when the gentlemen from the manor were at Gettysburg and we were hanging out afterwards, we were talking about this and they wanted to film it. And Anthony said, I think we need to reach out to the company, just not even for us, for their sake. When I reached out to the company, we went upstairs from the bar with you guys, went to the room, and Anthony and I were talking. I sent them an email through their contact us. The very next morning, they wanted to schedule a meeting with us. And we're like, okay, this is probably not going to work out good for the manor. They wanted to have a meeting with us with the CEO, COO. So we have a meeting, we're explaining to them, which is very hard. I don't need to tell you guys. When you're talking about the paranormal and people are not into the paranormal or have a good understanding, it's a very difficult conversation to have, especially on a business level. So they kind of were like, yeah, I don't know about this. It doesn't sound like something we may be interested in. About 10 minutes later, I get an email from one of the people that are on it and say, instead of dealing with the business side of this, I want you to have a meeting with the actual designer and creator of the Neurovisor, because I think he would be very interested in what you guys are doing. Jumped on a meeting with him. He's in Thailand. And when we were telling him what we were doing, he basically said that he wanted us to handle the paranormal market, because he's a neuroscience guy. He's mindfulness. He's been doing this for 20 years. He understands the paranormal. He values it. So we're using the technology in a way that even the company wasn't thinking about using for this method. And again, we are not saying that this device will increase paranormal activity. What we're saying, this device guarantees, research-wise, that it's going to have a mindfulness impact on you. So if we can ground you, we can center you, we can increase neurobiohacking certain brainwave frequencies to tap into more of a higher probability for you to have a paranormal experience, then we've done our job. The wellness part of it is the foundation of everything. So the testimonies that we've been getting over the last 3 months are amazing, because people are not just having paranormal spikes in their abilities, even if they don't have abilities, just connection. They're having a transcendental life experience. For instance, I've had, I'll talk about one gentleman that we just recently had at our residency theater, the Ritz Theater, where we do paranormal investigations. Had an event where we were doing Neurovisor with people, and a 20-year-old gentleman does what's called a focus session. He was having problems with focus, and he wanted to tap into that to have deeper focus at the event. So we put him in, and we always ask after everybody's done, are you okay? Give him a moment to process kind of the experience and share with us. He described being again, now he's 20 years old. Being a wounded soldier on the battlefield in Vietnam, he saw him being picked up by a gurney, brought to the medical unit, and being treated for his wounds. Like literally feeling like the needle going into his skin, like them doing blood work and wrapping up his bandages. And he came out, and his dad was there, and after, I was conversating with his dad, and his dad said, "This is the most wildest thing that I've ever seen, because he has his entire life been fixated with World War II, Vietnam, all that kind of stuff. But he just took it as this whole time that he just was really like a history buff and into that kind of stuff. Quickly, we realized that maybe possibly he was peeling back some past life regression. Okay. So I always, part of doing this, no matter how this grows, because I'm a professional mental health provider or clinician, I would be wrong to do any type of work like this and not provide support to people from a mental health perspective where they can process some of this stuff. So it's not only myself now, I have friends and colleagues that are helping out with this free mental health services for people whenever they need us at their disposal. So I followed up with him several days later, the father, and he said, I would like to get one for my son. He said, because since then, his anxiety has been lowered. His mood is shifted. Like he's more like able to have a conversation with people and be connected. And he said, this kid has not gotten a full night's sleep and I don't know how long. And the kid for the last 3 days has been sleeping like in bed by 10, up at like a normal hour doing what he needs to do. So if that is the fucking experience that people are getting from this, that is why I'm so passionate about it. That's why I'm so passionate about it. One, I'm a neuroscience person. So I've taken, I have a master's degree in psychology. I have taken courses with Johns Hopkins University for neuroscience. I'm addicted to the brain. Okay. So this stuff is right up my alley. And the reason why I'm so passionate about neuroscience is because I've had epilepsy since I was 10 years old. So I say that because I'm used to conversations about the brain and on a personal level. I also have seen, because I'm 49, an evolution in neurology, testing, treatment. So now being in psychology and working with people in their brain, conjoining the neuroscience behind it, it's just so powerful. Our goal with this is several things. Because we see that this is life-changing, we haven't had anybody. I am waiting for the day for somebody to do a neurovisor session and say to me, yeah, it did nothing. That hasn't happened yet in years that I've been using this. So if it ain't broke, don't fix it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't need to recreate this. We don't need to recreate this technology that's already out there and being researched. This particular company, the reason why I jumped into it so heavily was because of this technology is built based off of a 2023 MIT research study using light and sound with dementia and Alzheimer's patients. They were able to use light and sound and create those new neuroplasticity moments for people that were very short term. So the brain disease of those two diagnoses, you are not building new neuroplasticity. You're not building new memories. So that's why they can't remember now stuff, but they can harken back to stuff that's happened and created memories. So the goal of this is to give people a deeper connection to themselves, One, two, the paranormal potential that's there, and for locations to put this in their locations to help raise money for themselves. These they can increase their ticket value for their guests, because they're giving their guests an experience that is going to lend to that type of event. And if that's the way that we can help people keep the doors open in like historical locations, then again, we've done our job. We're a 501c3 organization. So anything we do at the organization is donated to the Ritz Theater Company, the Trevor Project, animal rights, because those are the things we're passionate about.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's I was just telling Andy before we came on, it's been very overwhelming, but a good overwhelming, because we were not expecting people to respond this way to it. We're hoping that this becomes the thing that is in every paranormal person's toolkit, because we want you to be the actual tool to use.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, I know that's a lot of information. I get very excited over this stuff because of the fact that I wouldn't be out here telling people ethically from a clinical perspective that this it works, and people are having some really amazing experiences from it. I'm actually getting emotional, which is weird because of the fact that the stuff that we hear from people is so personal. That it really hits you like that. Wow, like there's people can have a moment for themselves on a personal level, so yeah, it's like very touching. So there's a lot of passion that's going behind this project.
Yeah.
Well, everybody can tell you that there's a huge difference between, okay, you go on an investigation and you see like a REM pod go off or see a device go off, and having an actual personal experience.
Right.
So
right.
if neurovisor, heightens that personal experience, it's something to look at.
And we do have somebody here that has tried it multiple times, so she can talk about the experience as well.
Can I ask, is it addictive for the guys that have used it? Is it something you can overuse? Is there like
So no, you can't. It's not a medical. That's a great question that we get asked a lot. It's not a medical device. So the only thing that would prevent you from a medical standpoint from using it, which is going to sound weird coming from me, is sensitivity to like seizure disorders because of the strobing technology. Me personally, I am able to use it. I am cleared from my neurologist to use it because I am not prone to that type of activity. Like light does not. I've been having epilepsy for 39 years, so I know what my brain does. That's not a trigger, but you have to sign like a waiver to clear you from that. Otherwise, that's it. Heart problems, anything like that has no bearing on any of that. Can it be addictive? Yes. Anything that going to the gym can be addictive. If you're feeling good, that's something that you're going to want to constantly do. This is no different. So it's just strictly mindfulness. You can run as many sessions as you want back to back. It's not going to do anything. You're not going to fry your brain or anything like that. Because it's the neuroscience research. It just doesn't. That's not possible for you to. It sounds like it because we're saying the word neurobiohacking, but that's just a fancier term than what it is. But no, you're not going to fry your brain or anything like that. We use it the way we use it here. So in the settings that I was telling you about, like someone like Nicole, which she's getting into some of the studies that we're doing. The end user who's doing it for the first time, it's just more of like what we call brain engagement. So engaging the brain and saying, hey, this is new. Wow, this is cool. Start building that neuroplasticity. Within probably anywhere between 20 minutes to an hour after use, your brain will start really firing up that neuroplasticity. And neuroplasticity depends on, our brains are like fingerprints. They're all different. So some people have reported feeling residual effects, like, and what I mean by that, like feelings of groundful, mindfulness, low anxiety, better sleep, calm. We've had people report that for 2 to 3 days, and we've had people report it like they felt that for a week. And the more that you use it, you go from that short-term brain engagement to what's called brain entrainment. The longer traits that your brain is. So let's say going to the gym. When you go to the gym, you have to work out certain muscles. And I'm doing this like I go to the gym, but I don't.
Somebody watching will probably tell you if you went to the gym, you wouldn't be doing it like that.
Right. So something like this, building like neuroplasticity on a regular basis, is the same thing for your brain. It's your brain going to the gym, basically.
Yeah.
So that's the more addictive part of it, probably, is that the fact that you're feeling better. So on top of that, all that I just said, the foundation of this came from psychedelics. Okay. People taking psychedelia to ground connection to deeper, that whole movement in like the 60s and 70s, that faded out pretty, stigma ended that. Now in my field, professional field, we're microdosing now a lot. So ketamine, mushrooms, LSD, that's the gentleman who created this comes from that era and said, okay, there's something that's there that we can now tap into doing it on a technological basis. So the foundation from this came from neurodosing. Okay, so there is that psychedelia experience, and anybody who's done psychedelics, it's not just tripping and seeing crazy shit. There's a process that happens where you're opened up and you're communicating with each other. Like people who have tripped balls in their life can tell you the psychedelic part of it is a couple, like let's say it's last 8 hours, probably half of that is the visual stuff. But when that fades, it's almost like you're in a therapy session with the people in the room with you because you're just communicating. So that's where they took this principle and then expanded that and said, let's take the neurodosing, we'll add some neuro biohacking on top of it. So it gives people a multi-layer connection with the brain. So so it can, anything that makes you feel good is going to make you want to do it more,
Yes.
I was going to say, is there an optimum on this? Is it like you're saying? I guess you're saying it's maintenance. If you keep doing it, you're only gonna get as good as you can get with it, or is it something over time that you're still studying that people can be sort of people that use it for anxiety, say, but then they can end up having sort of medium sort of abilities? Is it something that you can really enhance over time, or is it something that you're at a level but you feel good and that's the sort of the optimum you can be?
So yes. So what we're doing is very much a lot of research studies where basically we're putting installations like an isolation pod. You put the device on people, your staff. We always recommend that first because they know the location so they can gauge, well, my activity normally is at this level here. Now it's at here or dropped, or so we can get that outside of the end user experience. And, we've been hearing that a lot, like, because I've been using it for a little bit more time, like consistently, things are changing. And it's again that if you look at the brain from two different lenses, that brain engagement, quick, that neuroplasticity is quick. I just said like it can last very short for people, but then it's gone. and then you got to do it again but the more you do it consistently, like I use the device probably 3 times a week. Now I'm outside of that brain engagement, and now I'm in the gym with it. Like it's a late day, you know what I mean? In my head, I run certain programs for certain things. Then the next day it may be, and one it may be for sleep. Then the next day it may be focus, and then the next day it may be something else. But those are we call them routines.
Yes.
Just like you have leg routine, arm routine, it's the same thing. So now I'm teaching my brain, okay, you don't have to just do this short term. If you keep doing this, this is where it's going to end up. So the whole this ruins the saying you can't teach an old dog new tricks. Because as we get older, we lose the ability to build neuroplasticity. This fires that up. So yeah, it's like going to the gym, and because people are deeper connected to themselves, that's what mediums do. That's what psychics do. That's what people with psi abilities, they're tapping into a deeper part of themselves. And a lot of mediums and sensitives and people with abilities I've spoken to, and I'm always like, yeah, but I wish I had that because I think it would lend to the work. And they're like, everybody has that. It's just a matter of being able to tap into that. So that's what we're seeing is happening. I can't talk too much about it, but we did a pilot study at the Samuel Miller Mansion yesterday. A bunch of us running the sessions in different areas, targeting different brainwaves in certain things in certain areas of the room of the mansion. We're running it all simultaneously, taking we do EEG readings before so we can see baseline what people's brains are activities like, so we can do that neurobiohacking. So we were doing that yesterday, and we do a session with it and then put the EEG reader on so we can get nice readings. We were running it all simultaneously at the same time, and then taking it off, going into a different area, recording what our experiences were before we shared it with each other. And the stuff that went on last night was like, I felt like a neurological nerd kid in a candy store, because what the premise of me and Anthony were thinking, it's like when a scientist, or not that we're scientists, because everything we do is exploratory, it's observational. But when a researcher is doing research and the research is fucking working, they get excited about it. So that's what happened yesterday, is we got very excited that this stuff is working. And now we have it in a couple of different paranormal locations. And, again, it's to help their business out. But for us, they're like little mini labs that we can go and we can tap into and get information for study purposes.
Sounds cool. I've got a question, actually. Sorry, I got this tonight.
Right, can I just...
I'm gonna forget.
1 second. Just be 1 minute, because I'll forget. So you saying about it uses binaural beats. So I listen to that quite a lot.
Yeah.
But like you said, I can listen to the same binaural beat for different reasons. Like today, I was saying to you, I was so stressed with got loads going on, and I put the same track on as what I listen to when I'm creating stuff on the computer, or when I'm editing or doing a fun. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't matter. Yeah. It doesn't matter what I'm doing, but as long as I've got that going into my ears, then I can focus into what I need to do.
Right. So if you're using, like, I being a techie guy and doing all this mindfulness stuff, meeting traditional with more modern approaches, is the use and access of information. So YouTube is great for mindfulness stuff. So if you are having problems sleeping, most of the times if you're looking stuff up and it has all that zen-y sound, there's some type of binaural frequency happening. So if, let's say, anxious, so anxiety, if you put an EEG on somebody who's having a panic attack, chances are their beta waves are going to be higher because beta is for super hyper focus. And that's what we're doing when we're having anxiety is we're focusing so hyper focus on something that it's starting to cause a reaction. So if you were having anxiety, I would say to you, if you wanted to do something like that, stay away from beta because your beta is probably already high. You may want to do something like alpha, which is a grounding brainwave, or theta, or something that's more lower ender, so you don't. It's counteracting that. So most of the stuff out there now, guys, like in the comments, it'll say like beta, theta, and I'll have the hertz. Look up what the 5 brainwaves are. Anybody could do that. And learn what those brainwaves, how they're acting. So then you can be your own neurobiohacker. There's tons of audio stuff out there for it. It's just learning how to use it where it's not just, hey, let me throw this on and see if it works. Okay, if it works for you at some level, now let's fine tune it from a neurobiohacking level and really target where that brain is and where that brain needs to go.
Yes.
Like
That's right. I'm just looking at, just type in 5 brainwaves and it shows you everything you need to know.
Again, there's no need to recreate the wheel on information. That stuff is out there. Just look at it from a neuroscience perspective and then look at what the brainwaves do in an environment like paranormal, spirituality. And you'll find that the neuroscience and that type of stuff kind of meets somewhere. So tap into it. Learn about yourself. I always tell people, nobody is an expert on anything except for being you. You're the expert on yourself. So tap into, learn, ask questions, from people who are in like neuroscience, where you have access to doctors. This is not like a fictitious thing. Neuroscience has to do with brainwaves and all that kind of stuff. So it's just learning how to use it and implement it,
No, I was just reading there because it says people with ADHD have lower levels of beta waves.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously, if you listen to that, beta waves,
it's going to now. Is it going to if we do like EEG stuff? Are we going to see, let's say, then that example, the beta go from, I don't know, 5 decibels. It's not going to go up to 100 decibels. It's going to go up maybe from 5 to 10. That short amount of increase is significant shift in the brain because that's the brain's not doing that. You're doing that. We did something like that yesterday where somebody wanted to tap into their gamma. It was the initial EEG reading showed it was at 5 decibels. We did a spike to that and it went from 5 to 17. And the person was having paranormal experiences. So it doesn't have to be skyrocketed. Any significant change is going to change the way your brain operates.
Yeah. Right, I'm just copying and pasting from one of the things on here. Because this actually tells you about the gamma waves. So it's between 30 and 100 hertz. And a state, like you were saying, a state of hyperfocus, engagement, and peak performance triggered by activities such as learning, problem solving, critical thinking. And then beta waves 12 to 30, a state of alertness, focus, mental processing, ranging from low to high frequencies. So it's all there. It's there. It's there. Easy. It's easy to understand as well.
Right. Like if in the paranormal field, I think a lot of the times we feel like we have to align ourselves to science to make a connection for validity. This is kind of a way to do it in a way. You know what I mean? Like science is already telling us this is how your brain functions, and brains function. It happens a lot through brainwave activity. they're telling you just what Andy, you were saying. That will spike in concentration, certain things, and anxiety. So if they're giving us that information, why are we pretending like it's not there, that we can do something using that information to alter the way that we're moving and grooving through life? We can have some control over it, you know. But yeah, the information's out there. It's just learning how to apply it, you know, to yourself.
Yep. Go on, nickname. Questions. Can you remember? Go.
Actually, touched on it a little bit earlier when you were talking about abilities. I was going to say, if people used it and they've been, I guess, confused that they can channel or have some mediumship. So
Right.
you were touching on psychedelics. People might be using it thinking I'm using it just to calm anxiety, but then they're starting to channel things and some true medium things. So are people sort of realizing that, or are they writing it off thinking, no, this has got this psychedelic effect on me? How do you sort of say, no, it actually is something you didn't realize you had?
Right. So when we were doing this, that was a big concern of ours before we put it out there that we were using it in a normal setting. That was mediumship and sensitives. We didn't want to impede on their natural abilities and alter anything like that, neurobiohack anything like that, because again, if it ain't broke, why fix it? You know. But we had some people who we know and we trust, and they said, yeah, we want to give this thing a shot because we think not that it's going to cloud our abilities, but let's see if what you're talking about with this neurobiohacking, increasing the stuff that's already heightened, what happens? We did it at an event probably a month ago. The hall was, Nicole, like about a month ago, right? Not even.
Yeah, it was the 4th. It was the 4th.
The 4th. And before the public came in, you know, they saw us setting up and everything, and we got a large turnout of vendors that were there that had abilities that wanted to try it. And I just said, you know, hey, keep in touch with us. Let us know what the experience was like. They basically, an overwhelming response. Several days later, we got contacted by these same mediums. One was, I can mention him because we did a sit down with him that we did live. A gentleman by the name of Anthony Simonelli, who is an investigator, seasoned investigator that's been doing this for quite some time. But he's also he draws like spirit art, okay, and he's been doing it pretty much his whole life. He came up to us before we left and handed us something and said, I need to speak to you guys more about this because I've been getting, ever since I did this, the neurovisor, and he was the first one. He's like, I feel like I'm tapped in. And then we had a couple of other people who were doing readings, tarot, and things like that, who also gave us testimony that they probably had some of the best readings with people that they've had in a very long time. So one of them actually works with Nicole and has her own device now. So there are people like, yeah, the psychedelic, that's the best part of for me of ever doing psychedelic stuff. Yeah, the visuals were great, but it was that unless you've done it, there's this connection that you are made with not only people, like it's going to sound corny, but like the planet, the earth, you're just tapped in. Your brain produces in your pineal gland automatically every day DMT. Okay, that's what gives you lucid dreams. That's why you daydream and you disassociate, because your brain is producing that. All chemical substance, all neurobiohacking is saying, ooh, I want more of that. You know, so the psychedelic stuff is pulling that out to like such a magnitude that in a short amount of time that the most people who do psychedelics will tell you That's why we get that hippie vibe. That's why we get that flower power child vibe, because they've had that experience and it stays with you. It stays with you. So like anything, like you were saying, then you want more. You want more because you want to feel good. You want to feel connected. You want to feel tapped in and rooted with not only people but your environment. So that's, yeah. So people are reporting to us. I mean, the studies on that stuff we're just getting into because we wanted people to work. We wanted to work with people that really trust us. That we're not going to put them and their abilities in harm's way. And now that we're seeing it, we're actually going to be doing in 2026 at our residency location, the Haunted Ritz Theater, a study series doing this neurobiohacking with Neurovisor, just with mediums and mediums that have helped us in the beginning of our going into the theater when we didn't know anything outside of the historical record. We're celebrating our 5 years as Parasite on Friday, on Halloween. So we want to bring those same mediums back, do this type of work with them, and then them tell us how we can now deeper connect with the spirits at the Ritz. So we're doing a lot of that stuff, as well as like just normal investigators who maybe don't have that ability, to see how we can tap into that. Again, our goal is to make the person, the investigator, the person who's doing the paranormal. Technology is great. It's great. I love things that have bells, whistles, lights. I love it. That's probably why I love this. But if they have no real purpose for us to tap into them, what are we really doing with that technology? You know, no diss to it.
Validation, isn't it? That
right, and no diss to it. I have tons of tech stuff that, like even yesterday we were doing the study. I was like, let's just throw stuff out. We have this visor on, our eyes are closed. We're basically doing sensory deprivation. Why are we not seeing what's happening when we don't have our eyes open and our ears available to us? And we caught some really crazy stuff yesterday. So yeah, there's I can get very geeked out talking about it, but unless you experience it, it's just one of those things that unless you experience it for yourself, it's just like the paranormal. People who don't know about the paranormal, we talk about the paranormal, we get the side eye, like, I don't know about you. This is no different. It's experiential.
Yeah. But the techie stuff with that is interesting because, okay, so there's the theory on, all the equipment. Is that receiving the spirits of like a deceased person, or are we projecting it out there?
Right.
Is it coming through us to the equipment? So having that run while you're doing a neurovisor session kind of tests that whether, it's amplifying you as a receiver.
Right. And what was wild about yesterday was 3 separate people simultaneously. So the programming, the way that this is designed neuroscience wise, is they take the binaural audio stuff, they then take it and do what's called light choreography to it. So it's very science driven. Every flicker, every rate that the 9 LEDs light up is a specific point to tap into the brain. So why not see what that was like? We ran it simultaneously. I can take this device, run the same program on all 4 of us, because we have that individual unique thumbprint in our brain. We're all going to receive this differently. Now the technology, the lighting, the sound is not changed. Mm-hmm. I can pull us all 4 out, talk about it, see what's going on. We're all going to have a different experience. I can put this on all 4 of us, run the same program, nothing has changed. And again, we will have our own new unique experience and a new unique experience as a collective who are doing the same thing at the same time, which boggles my mind because of the fact that it's giving people like an individual. So it's if you run the same program, it's not going to be like watching the same episode of Seinfeld 30 times where you know what's going to happen. You don't. So it goes off of what Nicole is saying, that and a lot of the stuff is using it in tandem. In tandem, you know, does the tech stuff work in paranormal? Absolutely. But can we use ourselves more as a reliable source of information for ourselves? I don't care if anybody else in the room knows what's going on. Me personally, if I'm experiencing and I'm feeling it, I don't need to share it with the world for validation. I'm tapped in. I know it happened. I know I had an experience, and that's all that should matter. Between you, the space, and spirit. It doesn't need to be televised or, you know, broadcasted out there. Spirit doesn't communicate with that, you know, but they'll communicate with you if you're willing to tap into, you know, what else is out there. They're waiting for us to do that. So it's the balance. It's using all the tools that we have accessible. This is just now a tool that we've never thought about using in the paranormal field ourselves. You know,
Do you know? Just going to say, what it sounds like to me is the digital seance experiment, but you're inside it. So where that's happening in real time, you're actually in and you're part of it, and you're getting them feelings and emotions direct, rather than it being shared out to a full room of people that are sat there watching and listening, like what we was doing.
And to jump down that rabbit hole, we are going to be doing some stuff with like Ron and Lourdes have tried it. And both have, you know, their own experiences with it. And so we want to kind of play around with that. What would happen if we used it in tandem with them to see what happens? But I'm a proponent again of people working with people in behavioral mental health from what's called a person-centered. So like if I'm having a session with the three of you guys, it's going to be a different session for each of you. I don't do cookie cutter. I don't do, you know, a lot of that's, there's a movement in psychology called unconventional therapy where you're not doing like traditional clinic-based stuff. So I roll that into everything else I do in my life: cultural competency and person-centered. I want people to be treated like an individual and feel like there's like personalized attention to that person. So it's all about you. Like I'm such a proponent of, you know, mediums do that stuff. That could be their natural ability. And if mediums are telling us we have that all in there, it's just our problem. The majority of us is that we don't tap into that or find the time or need to work on that type of stuff. So this is maybe a possibility of a way of a person, very easy, affordable on an end user basis, not just with paranormal stuff that they can use to improve the quality of their life. Then we've done our job. We've done our job.
I was going to say, actually, on the back of that, Frankie, how do, say, I don't regard myself as a medium. I know people have abilities if they meditate and take the time. Have you had people use it for another purpose that going, I think I'm a medium, or I've unlocked that side of me? Like, how does that, I guess, how do you verify it with someone? Because someone using it first time, I don't know if I'm going a bit happy, like a bit crazy with it, or if this is, I've actually unlocked my capability with it. Have you got people that don't regard them to have that ability but have come back and gone, I think I might have it now? Like, how do you go, well, you must have it if that's coming through, as opposed to them thinking I'm having an adverse effect?
You have such great questions. I love it. You know, you're feeding these great questions to like a neuroscience nerd. So you're jazzing up my day right now. So that, and a lot of the stuff that you're asking me is stuff that is, now that we're putting it out there more so. And again, like I told you guys, we've been doing this for a while, personally, internally. It's only been like 3 months that we've put it out there, especially in this field. That it's a really good feeling of being overwhelmed in an excited way, that we really want to have people lend us that type of information so we can expound on it. But it clicked with me when I was telling you about that younger gentleman that had that almost past life regression, where I was like, even that's why I was getting a little choked up before, is because it was a very personal experience between him and I. And he did say I can share that experience, but not the details that kind of led afterwards. Yeah. But when his dad said that he feels like this is like some of the layers that he's been holding on to from a past life, that I can't explain that, nor will I probably ever be able to scientifically prove that. Nobody's going to be able to prove that. I go based off of what the person tells me. That's 99.9% of what I do for a living. Is not put my judgment aside, to make sure that your person-centered care is at the forefront of everything. So when he told me that, I'm like, oh shit. Now not only are mediums talking about that it has an impact, not only that from a wellness perspective, people are having an impact. Now I'm being told that somebody's having a past life experience from it. So that opens up a whole different, that's why we're doing this mediumship study, because we really want to get a nice pool of mediums to experience this over a couple of different sessions. Read their brainwaves first, see what's going on naturally from a baseline, run some programs on them, and each time afterwards taking a new reading, see where their brainwaves are at, neurobiohacking them. So if their gamma and their theta already is raised, can we do something to unstick other stuff and raise that even more? And then have them in a paranormal environment that they've worked in before to pull us new information. We get so many layers of information that way. And then we can now say, okay, it's not for us, mediumship world, to tell you how to use this with people. All we're saying is, here's a potential that if you're working with a client and they're expressing, or you're working with somebody that has abilities and maybe needs to control some stuff, or spike some stuff, now you, medium, who's doing that training, has a tool that you can try to see if that helps. And we'll teach you how to use it, do EEG readings so you can really do that neurobiohacking part of it. But all we're here to do is be a gateway for the experience and the information, and then allow the people who are using it, like, this is big in wellness. So if you're look at wellness technology, you'll find it. Wellness centers are doing it. They have wellness conventions. I do it with groups of people, with individuals. The new market. So our market is threefold. It's wellness first, paranormal, and then music. So they're going to be having the Neurovisor in a lot of these music festivals now to, one, open people up, like give them that neurodosing experience. And then they're going to also be doing like where these EDM DJs, their music is being pumped into the headphones while they're having that neurodosing psychedelic experience. So those are the markets for this, and then we turn it over to people who knowledge is neuroscience, and beginning stages of paranormal stuff. But then we want to put it into medium's hands and say, okay, this is how it's designed. So let us information on what you're doing with it and what the results are. Most research studies like this, 10 years. A good research study takes about 10 to 15 years. So this is very brand new. We're just not holding it for ourselves. It's ultimately designed for everybody out there listening, all of us, end user. We're just using it in a capacity that the company had no fucking clue that was even a thing.
But at the end of the day, you can have all the research, all the studies, and people's experiences are the only thing that matters in the end.
100%, my friend. 100%. And I work a lot with Nicole, and Nicole can tell you. Nicole could tell you that I don't bullshit. Two, that I'm very into psychology, mental health, neuroscience, and all that kind of stuff. So I wouldn't be out here telling you guys about this stuff if I didn't have my own experiences and I didn't have some of that science to back up what the benefits, the power. I even tell the company all the time, I don't even think you know how powerful a device you've created for people. Like, and I mean, like, from where it's changing people's lives. I don't even think they understand. They probably do, and that's why they're successful. But they need to hear that from end users. That what you've designed is yes, it may not be a medical device, but it is 100% a very powerful mindfulness device. And I've been in this field for quite some time, and I have disclosure, I'm on medication myself for mental health stuff. This is so much more powerful without taking a substance manufactured by a pharmaceutical company. So, and it's like I said, why should I do daily meditation every day? No diss to that. That's cultural. That's not my cultural. It's just a principle that I practice. But for somebody who has ADHD and a squirrel mind, I can't tap into that too much because it takes too long, kind of. I could throw this on, do 5 minutes because my schedule's crazy, and maybe it brightens and loosens up my day or my focus. Great.
He's froze.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not froze. I'm just talking anymore.
You're froze.
For a change. Yeah.
So every time somebody else sneezes,
I
feel like I have to stop moving so I don't get stuck in a weird position.
Well, that's why I try to be as like possible. But no, I mean, my thing to you guys, your listeners, people who are watching this is, I know it can come off, which I'm very mindful. Anthony's very mindful of it. Sheena's very mindful of us feeling like we're trying to push a product down people's throats. That is not our intention. We're just very excited about this because we just want people to experience and come up with their way of how they're receiving the experience. You know, I say all the time, like, I want people to have no experience because I want that balance of things, because I don't have that right.
Oh,
he's gone.
Right,
They've took him.
They did. He's talking too much.
Because I was just about to ask him, how do people in the UK get hold of these things?
Through Frankie. You contact Frankie. And he will refer you to the designated retailer.
I was talking so much, I broke it.
You broke the internet.
Oh.
So I was just going to ask you. So how do people in the UK get hold of these things?
So the way that people will be able to get it, outside of doing it in like a paranormal, again, that's not our purpose. Our purpose is first off is you having better health. You can go onto neurovisor.com and you can put in like a discount code for us, which is the Parasite Project Corporation. Well, sorry, the Parasite Project Corp, CORP, Neurovisor experience. So right now we want end users to buy it. They're having a going into kind of like what we call here Black Friday here in the United States, which usually happens after Thanksgiving. They're having
Sorry,
a 30.
Frankie, what was it? Parasite Project Corp.
Parasite Project Corp, CORP, Neurovisor, NE. Oh, well, hold on a second, guys.
Neurovisor with no E.
Neurovisor experience.
You need a shorter code, dude.
Yeah,
that's a long code. They give it to us. There's nothing that I can do about it. Did you not think I asked about that already? But that's the easiest way. We also have an affiliate link.
That's the easiest way.
Yeah, we also have an affiliate link that I can give you guys, and if you guys want to post it in your comments and share it, or that's a little easier that people can just click on. But so anybody around the world can get this themselves. If you use that code, you just get a discount that they allow our people that we're reaching to save some money on it. And so yeah, it's not, we're just using an end user device in a way, and think about it. Most of the technology that we use in the paranormal, we're repurposing from other purposes of what it's designed for. This is no different than a K2 meter, or it's no different than a digital recorder that we're using in our setting. We're just using an end user device in an alternative way that it was designed for the field that we work in. So anybody can get it. Stay tuned, because from a paranormal perspective, we will have somebody that you can contact in the UK to answer any of your questions in paranormal neurovisor stuff. If locations want to be part of the project and get an installation in their location, we will have and be shortly announcing that point of contact for you. But anybody across the world right now, as we speak, can go onto Neurovisor, enter that code in, and have their own personal device that they can use. It would be no different than, I don't know. It would be no different than turning on YouTube for a meditation alternative. You just wouldn't have to log on. You just strap the device to your head and do what you got to do and improve some wellness and health.
Yeah, that is literally what I do, though. I go on YouTube.
That code is not working, Frankie.
Listen.
Is that right?
Code, I don't have my glasses on because I get a reflection. Can I get back to you on that and give you the right code?
Yes.
Okay.
Because I just put it up and I don't want to blast it out to everybody. Because
no.
Test it.
Is the UK rep going to be Andy?
No.
Maybe.
Who knows?
Only because I look at Andy like a solid guy, like a friend, and we wanted to be, from the paranormal lens, to be represented by somebody that we can trust, somebody that's knowledgeable in the field, somebody that
not Andy.
Oh, don't call that.
Well, I don't know his impression in the UK, since I don't live there, but in the US, we look at Andy very he's a great guy, fun guy, but he's a trusting person that we have in our circle. Nicole can attest to that.
Yeah, he's in our circle, but only when we go
Yeah.
to the Irish.
Yeah, it's just
The outer rim of it.
never fucking going there again. If I go there, it's going to be me smashing them plates, not BMR 2.0.
But yeah, so it's exciting stuff, guys. If anybody has any questions or anything like that, they can feel free to reach out no matter where you are in the world. You can reach out to us, and this I can give you because it's the right email address. It's Neurovisor Parasite Project at gmail.com. You can also go to our website, which is www.parasiteprojectcorp.com. And you'll get information about Neurovisor, about who we are, what we do, our theories, our principles, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, but I've got some of the information that you sent across to me still. So I've saved that. I've put that in a separate thing. So I do have some limited knowledge as to what it is and all that kind of stuff.
And I just want to put it out there because that's something you mentioned right before you got cut off earlier. You know, about not selling a product. It's like, yes, it's a product, it's an experience, but when you guys are doing like the conventions and the fairs and stuff, you're letting people do this for free. You're 100%. Not charging people like per session as like a way to make money there. You're not.
I don't need to probably tell you guys, because generally a lot of us in this field, we're creative beings. I think that's what lends to our experiences in doing this and getting activity. We tend to be very passionate about things and not monetize much off of it. Okay, so the principle basically of why we're doing this outside of personal experiences is more so for assisting us in raising dollars for locations that we work in that are historical and with a lot of cuts that are happening. Can't talk about how that works in the UK, but in the US, there's been a lot of significant historical performing arts, cultural cuts in funding where people like organizations and locations really rely on that and are in a panic right now. So if we can do something in the places that we really care about with the people that we really care about to start all this off, and it's going like wildfire, to help raise more money for their location. In addition, taking some of our money, a large portion of any of the proceeds that we make, and donating it to some organizations that we are personally connected to, like performing arts, like the Trevor Project, like animal rights and things like that. That's our mission, is to help the community out, in addition to being a new tool for people. So yeah, so it's a tricky dance with stuff like that, because when you want to get something like this out to people, you have to tell people about it. You have to tell people about it. You have to have people experience it. So when we're out now in conventions, which people our phone or email is off the hook right now with people wanting us to come. Like Nicole said, we do not charge. We do not charge in that setting. We don't charge we don't even make a profit off of the locations that have the facility. We're not getting a percentage of anything. We again just want people to have an experience. You know, so it's a tricky dance. Like, you don't want people to think like you're out there pushing a product for somebody. I'm the type of person that if I'm pushing a product from a corporation, generally it's because it's pretty monumental.
Yeah. Yep.
Yep. A lot
No,
of good stuff. A lot of info, but a lot of good stuff.
Yes. A lot of interesting
a
information.
lot. Yeah.
A lot of letters in
You
that
don't have,
discount code.
you don't have to remember it. You're fine.
Well, I have been working on the discount code, but I just can't give you a new one at this point because everything has to be linked up and synced up. But and the company is learning who we are, what we do, what our field is, and that's also another layer of it is teaching people that we are not this hokey bunch of a community of people globally that believes in ghosts. It's fun to talk about that stuff, but there's so much deeper stuff that we do that goes behind that communication that people need to know about. Yes, there's paranormal entertainment, which is 100% fine. There's paranormal enthusiasts that are 100% fine. I started out and still am a paranormal enthusiast. Then you move into other areas of the work like research and mediumship, and there's so many different avenues of it that part of what we do, our responsibility, in addition to being respectful and communicating with spirit, is educating people on what we do.
Yeah. I was just thinking with what you were saying, this would be really good to do a CE5.
What is that?
You don't know what a CE5 is, Frankie?
Oh, Frankie.
A CD5?
Close Encounter of the Fifth Kind.
Oh, well, see.
ET contact.
That is not my wheelhouse. I wish it was.
It's totally your wheelhouse. You got to learn about it.
You are going to learn about it.
Well, again, education. I'm an eternal learner, so hopefully I'm in good hands with you guys that you can educate me on that path. Because then I can speak more about that on a neuroscience level. What that's like.
Because it's hard to do. It's just manifestation. It's the thought process of contacting non-human entities and getting some kind of UFO, UAP to appear.
So basically, you all go out in a big field in a group or, by yourself, whatever, and you're manifesting that you're going to have a experience with a UFO. Yeah. And then a lot of times they'll show up. So
every time I've done one, one is shown up. We've done the CE5, the last one we did the CE5, and it's about 10-15 minutes later, and we're all like, oh, what's that light in the sky? And there's like 7 of us, and we'd all forgot we'd just done a CE5 10 minutes earlier. That's
clearly he needs neurovisor.
Memory. So as you're explaining that, Andy, I know this is going to sound very, because I only associate things generally with music, movies, and television and neuroscience. So as you're explaining that to me, I'm thinking, okay, Close Encounters of the Third Kind. When they were communicating on that mountaintop, everything was music and light.
Yeah, both different types of frequency.
So if you can have the ability to have that on a smaller, intimate scale, are you now then tapped into them? Even if they're, let's say they're like, go there with me. If they're watching you, they're probably going to be more willing to communicate with you with that type of technology on, because they may understand it a lot better than we would.
Yeah, because we're not using our mental thought. Like you said, we're using the lights and the music. Right. Maybe we are projecting something so they can pick it up and communicate back.
And there's a whole rabbit hole that I want to go down with Ron Iacovetti and Lourdes Gonzalez about like how this would all work with like tapping into higher level consciousness and having that shared consciousness with people, especially after last night when we were all together doing this, and then we were all having experiences that were somewhat similar. Like, is there that collective consciousness that's going on? And if you're tapped into yourself on a deeper level, does that now connect you from like on a grander scale of consciousness?
Yes.
Frankie's doing. You are doing it. There's people that can control these lights, UAPs as well. So you're already doing it. If you're already exploring that, Frankie, it's heightening it. But the next stage people do is control, like what Andy walked away from, the light. People can tap in and they control it, don't they? And then they don't know what to do with it. So, but now there might be more instances of people, or then eventually there might be people saying, yeah, that they can do CE5, or they can control across. You might see more than like anomalies. I can't say now. Anomalies coming from that if people are doing that next, because it is that same system. It is that same transmission.
Right. They understand it. It's like how you're describing it, and I'm hearing it in the moment, is almost like at one point we didn't have all this technology, so if two people were speaking two different languages, you were pretty much fucked. Okay. Now we have all this technology that if I can now have something where I can communicate with person who doesn't speak my language, they can communicate back to me. That's maybe what they would be seeing is, okay, this is a form of communication that I can understand with this primal being that's out there that is not really, is just tapping into technology, but we've been using it for eons. That's maybe a way that they're going to be like, okay, we can bridge a gap here. They're willing to try that. And then just to go by your example, then it doesn't need a group of people being in the field like Nicole was saying and doing this, but you can also now strengthen it right from your own personal location.
Yeah,
have them come to you.
To add on to that, so say you do use that to communicate with these ETs, and you get into this collective consciousness, what's then not stopping you from then connecting to other genres in the paranormal at the same time? And this way, Nicole, we may actually find out exactly what is really going on, and we might get to learn to know the question, do you want to know everything there is to know about the paranormal? Because if you can connect to one and it is a collective consciousness, I just don't want to, I'll forget anyway. So you connect into this collective consciousness. So we like the Bigfoot. A lot of people say that Bigfoot are seen when there's a lot of UFO activity, or there's a lot of orbs, or elementals, and all that kind of stuff. So if there is a connection direct from them, and you connect to them, maybe you can connect to like Bigfoot and Sasquatch and the fairies and the Fae folk, and maybe then, and not moving away from the paranormal and spirits and ghosts, but going on that other side of the realm as to what else is going on other than people that have passed.
Right. And that's why we want to work with people like who are do it so much better than we could ever do, and that's the metaphysical side of it. We could talk about the paranormal side of things. We can talk about the neuroscience part of things. We can talk about the important, even with consciousness, how, you know, mindfulness and one being centered with themselves lends to deeper consciousness. But gentlemen and scholars and academics and great minds like Ron and Lourdes, those are the ones that we would turn to and say, okay, we got a good footing on this in those other areas. What are your takes on it from like a metaphysical standpoint? What is your, you know, the physical health medical community? It's not a medical device, but what benefits do you see something like this that can have on somebody's physical wellness? So it's new tech. Yes, it's been around for in research for 10 years, out in the market probably about going on about 3 years. So it's new technology. It's new technology, taking old principles, with modern approaches, seeing what light and sound technologies out there, which I can tell you, majority of them I've used, and they have no neuroscience behind it. So I have no interest in the brain. For me, I have no interest in the brain entertainment part of this, because there's other stuff out there that does that. I'm more focused, and Anthony and I, even in Neurovisor, they're more focused on the neuroscience behind it, what they can prove. Not that the person's having an effect. We'll never be able to prove that outside of doing an EEG reading. But how science can be done in light and sound to increase people's potential for things to happen. That's what they're saying. They're not saying, hey, I can't even tell you. You're going to strap that device on, and in 5 minutes, you're going to see an apparition in a in a paranormal location. I would never do that because I can't.
I was just thinking, actually, Frankie, a way of validating it is, we haven't touched on this, but like remote viewing, astral travel.
We've got 1 minute left.
Okay, I'll make this very quick then.
I won't give you a long answer.
You could arrange to meet astral traveling, or to verify down the line. I guess you got all this feedback from people to come. Can they remote view? Could they before? Is it heightened that? Can they astral travel? Have they met people connected that way as well? You've got all that side of it.
We are part of this whole exciting thing is speaking to people like you and planting a seed of a connection with the person like yourself that has an interest in using this or focusing on a very specific study, a very specific niche in this. So it's all new stuff from a paranormal lens that we're doing. When people use the word innovators, and I use it and tend to probably overuse it a lot, and because it's people that I respect that are doing things that I can't do myself, but this is very innovative in the paranormal field. So you and I can have some conversations about stuff like that. And now that we're going to have this fabulous partner over in the UK and train you guys and train him so you guys can work on some of these studies yourself and just report back, because what we're doing is collecting data and information for a tech company that did not know the power that this has on this side of what we do. So we want to pull in great minds like yourself. And because that's going to help us grow, because we can't think of everything, but it's about partnerships in the beginning stages, to help us put it out there and give people a better experience.
There you go.
Oh, that was disappointing.
I'm not going to do that. All right, then. You ready?
What is it? Is that like a little symbol?
It's a gong.
It's a gong.
Okay, well, I would give you a namaste, but I have one hand holding the phone, so I'll just give you a half a namaste.
No, I got it because we
go over every week.
Because we go over and we need to stop. So I've got the digital gong, which sounds like that.
You have to time it so you're clicking while you're hitting. So
this is what I was going to do. I was going to go. Oh no, it's still playing. The thing with the digital one, if you don't play it all, it won't stop until it finishes. So then I'd go.
Yes!
Into it.
I love that.
Expecting.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
But
I
you
love
hit
that.
it. You put so much drama into it. It went tink.
But
I know. It was crap.
before you guys end, that was a great way to end this whole entire conversation that was long-winded from me in an example. So your first hitting it is traditional mindfulness. You playing that loud sound and hitting the gong, that's what more modernized mindfulness is like on a higher intensity. Mm-hmm.
So it's better to do
Hour and a half goes so fast.
I know, but we are going to be
Actually,
having guests
40.
on a Friday. So just
Yes,
quickly,
we are, and not on a Wednesday. So Wednesdays are going to go out as pre-records for Encyclopedia of the Unknown. Andy and I are going to record 45-minute episodes and put them out every Wednesday. So you'll get information on the paranormal topics from A to Z.
Exactly
Nice.
Right. So don't hate Nicole, as it was her idea.
No.
No.
Yeah.
So what? It just gives us more time to concentrate on what we're going to be doing each Friday, because each Friday is going to be completely different. We're going to have guests on. We're going to have panels. We're doing the paranormal pizza. We're going to learn the neurovisor. We're going to just go out investigating. I'm going to be investigating. Nicole's going to be investigating. So it's just going to be a mix of everything.
Nice.
We are going to be getting. So we're just going to be having people on that, like friends of the show, but with one exception. If we go out and we meet someone really interesting, let's say a conference, or you just meet someone and they are like, we need to get this person on, then that's what we're going to do. Otherwise, it's going to be one of you lot every week or every other week or something like that.
But when we do that with the guest, it's going to be as kind of a panel where it's more of a conversation rather than a traditional interview.
Yeah. But we wanted to get you on today so you could talk about that and get it out there. So then when we do start talking about it more, because I need to learn exactly what it is and how it works and all that kind of stuff. So it gives me that bit of insight as well. So I will actually be watching this back and taking notes from what you've just said. Because
we'll be giving you a full on. You'll be well versed. You'll be well versed. Trust me.
My head will just go. Yeah, exactly. So that is everything. Thank you so much, Frankie. Thank you, nickname. We are back, not back on Friday. So we have done the pre-record for the Halloween.
We are kind of back on Friday.
Yeah. We've
kind
done
of.
pre-record for the Halloween.
Back.
Yeah.
Yes.
The first one is going out at normal time, 8:30 UK time. It'll be 4:30 EST. That is a premiere. I will be in the chat for that one. That's on for 2 hours, 6 minutes, thereabouts. Then the next one, which was the first one that we did, was the Halloween Paranormal Pizza. That's going out at 11 p.m. UK time to 1 a.m. or thereabouts. So you're getting two.
So have an Alienate UK marathon.
Yeah, so you're getting 4 hours of the same people talking whatever it was we spoke about. But there's some great guests on there.
Similar people.
Yeah, we've got David from Down the Rabbit Hole and David Doesn't Know. We've got JD Hill, James Brody, myself, Abby Dent, Nicole, Jennifer O'Sullivan. There's some more. I can't remember all the names without looking. So, yeah, we've got a mix. There might be some stories or some things that we talk about in one of them that's repeated in the other one. But you'll get the gist of it, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So that is absolutely everything. Then Saturday. We're not doing anything Saturday, are we? Have I just gone? We're not recording anything Saturday, are we? No, I'm not even here. I don't even know what I'm talking about.
No, I don't think so.
No, nothing. Right, we're back. We are back.
All right, and that was everything.
That's
going.
everything. So we're back next Wednesday with Gaz Brown. So he's a guy from the UK. Then a week on Friday. What's that noise? Someone flushing the toilet.
I don't know. I don't know. Couldn't hear it.
Okay, whatever. So we've got someone's up to something. Anyway, I'm going. So that's everything. Thank you all so much for watching. I don't know what's going on now.
You need some Neurovisor. That's what you need.
I need it for sleep.
All right, got it.
Sort all this out. Right, so I'm going to boot us off, play some voiceovers, do the outro. We'll see you guys. Like I said, I'll be in the chat in the first one. If you can stay awake long enough, I'll be in the chat in the second one. Thank you, Frankie. Thank you, Nickname. Thank you, Nicole. I'll see you guys very, very soon. So take care and see you all.
Thanks for watching. See you next time. This episode will also be available as audio wherever you listen to your podcasts, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Podbean, etc., as well as being available on Audible.
Goodbye.